For 9 long months I hunted the man who shattered my life. But the night I finally found him was the night he left me all over again. Rain slammed down on New York like it wanted to drown the entire city. Cars sped past, splashing water onto my ankles as I stood there in the storm, soaked, shivering, and 9 months pregnant. 9 months of searching. 9 months of surviving. 9 months of clinging to one memory. His face. My umbrella had snapped hours ago, and my dress clung to my swollen belly like a second skin. I held it protectively as I stared at the glowing black glass building ahead, a luxurious underground club, mocking me with its warm gold lights while I stood outside, dripping and desperate. My heartbeat hammered in my ears. Here. I had imagined this moment 1,000 times. Telling him the truth. Begging him. Maybe cursing him. Then suddenly the doors burst open. Men in black suits spilled out, tense and shouting to each other. They surrounded him. Alex Hayes. The notorious Mafia heir. Broad-shouldered. Intimidating enough to bend the world to his will. My breath hitched. My fingers trembled. My entire body locked in place. There he was, the man from that reckless night. The man who had ruined everything. I stumbled forward and grabbed his sleeve with shaking hands. Mr. Hayes. My voice cracked. Rain dripped into my eyes. I'm pregnant. Yours. I have nothing. I can't raise this child alone. Please. Before he could answer, the club doors burst open again. Boss. The deal fell through. Someone betrayed us. His men shouted. Gunfire exploded in the distance. His men yanked him back while panic rippled through them. Alex's jaw tightened. His eyes flicked to me, cold, unreadable. Then he pulled his arm from my grip. Not tonight. Not tonight. That was all he said. Black cars roared to life and sped off, splashing icy rainwater onto me as they vanished into the storm. I stood frozen, rain and tears blurring everything. Heartless, my whisper shook. He left me. And then it hit. Pain. Blinding. Merciless. My water broke right there on the sidewalk. No, I gasped, collapsing to my knees. Help. Somebody help me. Thunder swallowed my cries. No one came. Everyone ran from the bullets and chaos. 1 hour later. I lay in a cold hospital room, fluorescent lights piercing my eyes. Contractions tore through me like knives. No hand held mine. No voice soothed me. I screamed into the sterile air. Minutes dragged like eternity, until finally, a newborn's cry filled the room. The nurse laid a tiny girl on my chest. My daughter. Tears poured down my cheeks as I kissed her warm, soft forehead. Oh, my baby girl, you're perfect. My miracle. But then I saw the hospital bill placed quietly on the table. My smile faded. Reality returned like a punch. Poverty didn't care that I had just given birth. I held my daughter close. Don't worry, my love, I whispered. We'll get through this together. We're a team, you and I. Outside, the storm washed away the night. And the memory of Alex Hayes with it. Or so I thought. 3 years passed in a blur of exhaustion. I woke before sunrise to fry eggs at a diner. Spent afternoons scrubbing office floors. Dragged my aching body into a convenience store night shift. Every blister, every backache. I endured it for my daughter Mia. She was 3 now. Bright-eyed, curly-haired, and full of sunshine. My entire reason for breathing. My only real support was my best friend, Vanessa. Loud, dramatic, but fiercely loyal. He babysat Mia whenever I worked double shifts. But life didn't get easier. Rent was overdue. Bills stacked like mountains. Then the landlord called, voice hard enough to bruise. End of the month, Emily. Pay up, or you and the kid are out. No excuses. My hands shook long after the call ended. I looked at Mia sleeping peacefully and felt my chest tighten painfully. Vanessa sighed heavily. Girl, you can't survive like this. 3 jobs. You need something that pays. I laughed, bitterly. Better jobs don't exist for people like me. She slid a flyer across the table. Now hiring, executive assistant for the Mafia. I froze. My heartbeat stopped. No, I whispered immediately. Absolutely not. Why not? Vanessa burst. I lowered my voice so Mia wouldn't wake. Because the man who got me pregnant and abandoned me 3 years ago was Mafia. I'm done with that world. I can't. Vanessa leaned closer, gentler. Emily, the pay is triple. Benefits. Stability. This could save you and Mia. My hands trembled as I stared at the flyer. A lifeline. Or a nightmare. But the truth was simple. I didn't have the luxury to say no. The next morning, I stepped into the sleek lobby of the Mafia-owned corporation, smoothing my borrowed blouse. Everything smelled like power and fear. My heels snagged on the carpet. A strong hand shot out, grabbing my wrist before I fell. I looked up, and the world stopped. Alex Hayes, the man who abandoned me 3 years ago, the father of my child, standing inches from me. My voice came out in a broken whisper. Alex Hayes. He frowned slightly. What? Our eyes locked. His gaze swept over my face slowly, almost searching. I never knew a woman in New York could have such beautiful eyes, he murmured. My heart slammed against my ribs. One of his men stepped forward. She's here for the interview, sir. My stomach twisted. The same man I had begged. The man who turned his back when I needed him most. My phone buzzed. Landlord, again. Threatening eviction. I clenched my teeth. If it's the Mafia or the street, I'll work for the devil. The interview. I sat tall in front of him, fury simmering under my skin. Alex didn't even look at my resume. His voice was cool. Why do you think you're qualified to be my assistant? I inhaled sharply and kept my tone professional. I've worked in customer service for years. I can manage schedules, organize documents, and handle difficult people. I held his gaze deliberately. Even arrogant ones. His eyes lifted, slow and curious. My voice had struck something in him, some buried memory. And then he said it. You're hired. My stomach sank. Hate, fear, survival. All tangled together. I had sworn never to let him near my life again. But fate had chained me to him. As I walked out, one thought burned through me. I will never forgive you, Alex Hayes. I slammed the pot onto the counter so hard the metal rang through the entire apartment. Every chop of the vegetables was sharp, aggressive. Each slice cutting through the frustration twisting inside my chest. Vanessa sat at the table, sipping tea like she was watching a drama unfold. Her eyes followed me quietly, patiently. He didn't even recognize me, I hissed, my hands trembling on the knife. 3 years ago I begged him to take responsibility. I stood right in front of him and he looked at me like I was a ghost. Vanessa sighed. Emily, you were both drunk that night. Maybe he genuinely doesn't remember. I spun around so fast she almost flinched. And the night I went to that club? The night I told him I was pregnant? Was he drunk then too? Did he forget my face that fast? My voice cracked. Did I mean that little? Silence settled thickly between us. Vanessa bit her lip. Maybe he just didn't notice you. You two never really talked, Em. Not properly. I dropped the knife, chest heaving. Whose side are you on? Mine, or the Mafia's? Because the way you're defending him. Vanessa burst into laughter and grabbed my wrist. Girl, shut up. I'm Team Emily. Forever. Don't you dare question that. My gaze fell to Mia's crayon drawings scattered across the table. Little suns, hearts, shaky outlines of us holding hands. All the reasons I fought so hard. All the reasons I survived. I hate him, I whispered. I hate that I have to breathe the same air as him. I'm only working for him to pay the bills. The moment I find something better, I'm gone. Vanessa brushed her thumb across my hand. I know you are. But until then, chin up. Don't let him see you shake. My jaw tightened. My resolve hardened. He may not remember me, I murmured, but I'll never forget what he did. The next morning I sat stiffly behind the sleek desk outside Alex's office, the pen in my hand tapping endlessly. Everything in this building gleamed, marble floors, glass walls. But all I felt was anger simmering beneath my skin. My first week was suffocating. Impossible deadlines. Endless tasks. Alex's cold voice echoing through every corner of my mind. Most women would have quit by noon. But I refused to bend. The office doors slid open. Alex stepped out, dressed in a sharp black suit, eyes laser-focused as they landed right on me. You misfiled this report, he said, dropping a folder on my desk. I didn't blink. I didn't misfile anything. You gave me the wrong date. The entire office froze. A wave of silence swept through the room. Alex's eyes narrowed dangerously. Do you know who you're speaking to? I lifted my chin. My employer. And if you want your files done correctly, don't confuse the dates. A dark amusement flickered in his gaze, annoyed yet intrigued. Bold of you, he murmured. Do you want to be fired on your first week? You said you needed someone competent. I'm competent. You make mistakes like everyone else. For a moment I thought he might explode. Instead Alex chuckled. Low, cold, unexpected. You're not afraid, he said. I forced a polite smile. Why would I be? He stared at me longer than he should have, as if trying to peel away my thoughts and secrets. Something in his expression tightened. Confusion? Recognition? I couldn't tell. As he walked away I felt his gaze lingering, and it made my skin crawl. Alex spent the next day testing me. More files. More errands. More impossible deadlines. But every time he threw a wall at me, I climbed over it. That night, long past midnight, he stepped out of his office and found me still typing. "You're still here?" he asked. "You wanted this done tonight," I muttered. "I don't fail at my job. Most people would have quit." "I'm not most people." He watched me like I was a puzzle with too many missing pieces. The next day was worse. Deliver files across the city in under an hour. Memorize a 30-page contract. Handle 3 calls at once. He wanted to break me, but I refused to bend. And the more I refused, the more fascinated he became. That evening he called me into his office. The skyline glowed behind him, casting shadows across his sharp features. I placed the documents on his desk. Our hands brushed, brief, electric. For a moment neither of us moved. Alex cleared his throat, stepping back, but not far enough. He moved closer. Too close. Close enough that I could smell his cologne. Dark, expensive, intoxicating. My breath hitched. His eyes traced my face slowly, lingering in a way that made my stomach twist. "Have we," he hesitated, "met before?" My heart plummeted. "I don't know," I said, voice cold. "You've probably met a lot of women, Mr. Hayes. I'm just your employee." He searched my eyes, desperate for a memory he couldn't find. Then he smirked, a wounded kind of smirk. "Maybe you're right." But the way he watched me as I walked out told me he didn't believe that at all. Meanwhile, home smelled like chicken and laughter. Vanessa flipped her hair dramatically as Mia pointed at her drawing. "That's you, Auntie." Mia giggled. "Why do I look like a potato?" Vanessa demanded. "A cute potato," Mia corrected. I laughed. "She has a point." Vanessa gasped. "Emily." This was the life I loved. Simple, loud, warm, safe. But safety never lasted long. Across the city, Alex sat shirtless in his mansion, bandages wrapped around his chest. Another bullet wound. Another ambush. But his mind wasn't on the attack. It was on me. My voice. My defiance. My anger. "Why does she look at me like she hates me?" he whispered into his glass of whiskey. If only he knew. Saturday morning, Mia and I walked through the market hand in hand. Colorful fabrics, warm pastries, fried dumplings filling the air. For a moment life felt normal. Then a sleek black SUV pulled up. Men in suits. Scanning eyes. Cold silence. And then him. Alex stepped out. My blood turned to ice. Not here. Not with Mia. But Mia didn't understand danger. She just saw a serious-looking man. "Hi, mister," she chirped, walking right to him. "Do you know how to smile?" I swear the world stopped. Alex blinked. And then he smiled. A real smile. At my daughter. "What's your name?" he asked, kneeling. "Mia," she said proudly. "Mommy says I'm her sunshine." "Sunshine," he repeated softly. "Makes sense." I rushed forward, pulling her behind me. "Don't bother him, baby." Alex stood, eyes flicking between us. His expression sharpened. "I didn't know you had a daughter," he said quietly. "Then, are you married?" My jaw clenched. "Is that a professional question, Mr. Hayes?" He didn't answer. I didn't wait. I grabbed Mia and walked away before he could read anything else in my face. Later that night, standing by my window, I still felt his gaze on me. Vanessa raised a brow. "What happened? You look like you swallowed a ghost." I told her everything. She froze. He smiled. "That man?" "I don't understand it," I whispered. "The way he looks at me, like he's trying to solve me." Vanessa smirked. "Girl, he likes you." "No," I snapped. "He never cared. He walked away when I needed him. Carried the fear, the hunger, the pain. Alone. And now he strolls in and wins her over in seconds? It kills me inside." Vanessa's voice softened. "You're allowed to hurt Emily. You carried her. You stayed. You fought. He didn't." My voice broke. "Then why does it still hurt so much?" "Because your heart remembers what your mind wants to forget," she whispered. "But don't worry, he doesn't know the woman you are now. You don't break." I leaned into her hug, feeling the weight loosen just a little. But deep down I knew the truth. If Alex ever learned the truth about Mia, everything would change. I stood stiffly in front of Alex Hayes's massive mahogany desk, a single sheet of paper clutched in my trembling hand. The floor-to-ceiling windows behind him spilled city lights across the office, stretching my shadow long and thin, like I was fading from this place already. Alex didn't look up at first. He signed documents with sharp, controlled strokes, each movement cold and precise. Finally, he reached for the paper in my hand. "What's this?" "My resignation," I said, my voice clipped, businesslike, everything I wasn't feeling inside. His eyes lifted sharply. "You're quitting?" "Yes." "Why?" My jaw locked. It's none of your business. His lips twitched in irritation, but he didn't look away. Everything you do in my company concerns me. Tell me why you're leaving. My pulse thudded painfully in my ears. I met his gaze head-on. Because I can't stand you. Silence hit the room like a slap. You hate me, he said, not a question, a fact. Yes. He stood slowly, stepping around the desk until he was right in front of me. Too close. Too warm. My breath hitched, but I refused to move. Do you really? He asked, voice low and dangerous, eyes locked on mine like he was peeling me open. Yes, I whispered, even as something twisted sharply inside me, anger, pain, something I refused to name. His gaze dipped to my trembling hand, then rose to my face again. The faint scent of whiskey and gunpowder clung to him, unsettling and familiar. You hate me, he murmured, and yet you're shaking. My lips parted, but nothing came out. The moment felt too heavy, too close. I turned my face away, breaking whatever spell tried to tie us together. Why? He pressed softly, almost like my answer mattered more than his sanity. Why do I suffocate you? I swallowed hard. The truth burned on my tongue. Because every time I look at you, I whispered, I remember everything I lost. Because I don't want my daughter growing up near a man like you. His brows knit sharply. Daughter? The word hit him like fire. I turned away before he could dig deeper. I'll finish this week. After that, you won't ever see me again. His voice came out rough, strained. Did the father of your child treat you badly? Abandon you? If he hurt you, I can fix that. I can make his life hell. Just tell me. A humorless laugh escaped my throat. You're not a hero, Mr. Hayes. You're a clown. I walked out, leaving him standing alone with my resignation letter crushed in his fist. Alex, somewhere I couldn't see. I didn't know what happened after I left his office, but later that night the city felt colder. I found out why. Alex sat in his dim study, the room drenched in shadows. The bandage beneath his shirt tugged at his skin. Evidence of another bullet wound, another danger I never wanted to be part of. Marcus entered, carrying a folder thick enough to hold someone's entire life. Boss, he said quietly, we dug deeper, like you asked. Alex didn't look up. And it's her. Marcus placed a photo on the desk. Emily is the woman from 3 years ago. He thought she was faking. She wasn't. She tried to tell you she was pregnant. You left. She gave birth alone that night. The glass in Alex's hand trembled. Marcus slid the photograph closer. Her name is Mia. Alex lifted the picture with shaking fingers. A little girl with bright eyes and a stubborn chin. His chin. His breath cracked. My daughter. The man who terrified cities sat frozen, undone by a single photo. Han stepped forward. Boss, what do we do now? Alex didn't answer. His whole world had just shifted. And I had no idea. I had just tucked Mia into bed when a sudden, sharp knock rattled the door. My heart jumped. Nobody knocked that late. I wiped my hands on a dish towel and opened the door. And froze. Alex Hayes stood there. Commanding. But not polished the way he usually was. His suit jacket hung open, tie loosened, hair slightly mussed like he'd been running his hands through it in frustration. For the first time since I'd met him, he looked human. He looked broken. I tried to shut the door. He stopped it with one hand, firm, desperate. Emily, please. Just hear me out. I forced a brittle smile. Hi, Mr. Hayes. Wrong apartment. His voice cracked. I remember, he said hoarsely. The bar. That night. The day you came to the lounge, when you told me you were pregnant. He swallowed hard. I thought you were lying. I thought you wanted to trap me. I was wrong. My throat tightened painfully. And now what? I whispered. You want forgiveness? Because guilt finally found you. No. His voice was a confession. I don't deserve forgiveness. But you should know. I didn't walk away because I didn't care. I was in danger. My rivals were after me. I barely made it out alive. His gaze softened with regret. I left you, and it has haunted me ever since I found out the truth. A bitter laugh escaped me. Haunted? Do you know what haunted me? Giving birth alone. No money. No help. Raising my daughter while you lived in comfort. Don't talk to me about haunting. He flinched, actually flinched. He stepped closer. My back hit the doorframe. When I saw Mia's face, his voice broke. She looks like me. She's mine, isn't she? I didn't answer. My silence told him everything. He swallowed, chest rising unevenly. I can't undo what I did. I can't erase the pain. But Emily, let me try now. Let me be in her life. Let me be in yours, even if you never forgive me. My hand tightened on the door. You don't get to waltz back in after 3 years and expect me to open the door. And I shut it. Hard. Inside, I leaned against the door and slid to the floor, silent sobs shaking through me. Outside, I could hear him breathing, broken, helpless. Then nothing. He left. I heard later he didn't sleep. Didn't eat. Just sat in his office staring into darkness, replaying every mistake. And the next week, strange things started happening. My overdue rent disappeared. When Mia got sick, the hospital cleared the bill before I even asked. Vanessa caught me staring at the receipts. Do you think it's him? I whispered. She smiled knowingly. Someone wants you to breathe easier, babe. I didn't want to admit it, but I knew. And even though Alex kept his distance, I felt him everywhere. He didn't call. He didn't show up. But he was helping. Quietly. From far away. It scared me more than his presence ever did. A knock came one early morning. Too early. I opened the door to find two men in black suits. Miss Emily, one said, bowing slightly. Mr. Hayes has arranged a new apartment for you and your daughter. Everything is ready. I shut the door in their faces. By noon, furniture arrived anyway. Pink bed, toys, new fridge, boxes of clothes. I rejected everything. Take it back. I yelled. I don't need his charity. From behind me, Mia whispered softly. But Mama. I like the bed. My heart twisted. But I still refused. That evening, Vanessa cornered me. Girl, enough. Enough what? This stubborn pride. He pointed at me. Listen to yourself. He explained why he left. He was wrong, yes, but now he's trying. And he's not hurting you. He's helping. I clenched the counter until my knuckles whitened. Vanessa's voice softened. You've been fighting alone for 3 years. Don't push away the man who wants to fight for you now. I didn't argue, because I couldn't. Later that night, I stood by the window watching the city blur into lights. Everything, the rent, the bills, the gifts. It had all been him. My chest tightened. Alex. I whispered, the name heavy on my tongue. The man I hated was the same man quietly keeping me alive. Mia sat cross-legged on the floor, coloring with the kind of focus only a 3-year-old could manage, humming a soft tune under her breath. Then, a knock. My heart paused. I wiped my hands on my jeans and opened the door cautiously. Alex stood there. No assistants. No bodyguards. No icy expression. Just him, eyes soft, unsure, almost fragile. Can I? His gaze shifted toward Mia. A lump formed in my throat. I swallowed hard. You may. He stepped inside slowly as if afraid a sudden move would scare the moment away. Then he crouched, actually crouched, until he was level with her. His hands trembled as he pulled a small stuffed bunny from his pocket. Hello, he said gently. My name is Alex. I'm your dad. Mia's head shot up. Her eyes widened, huge, bright, full of sudden magic. Hi, Dad. Really? Before I could brace myself, she launched herself into his arms. Alex froze. Completely frozen, as if he didn't know how to breathe, let alone hug. Then, slowly, he wrapped his arms around her and held her so tightly I felt something inside me crack open. His jaw trembled. A soft, unguarded smile broke across his face. I covered my mouth with my fingers. Tears slipped out anyway. The resemblance between them, God. It was undeniable. He was his mirror. And he was hers. Mia giggled as he lifted her, spinning her gently in the air. I had never heard him laugh before, not like this. Not freely. She reached out and traced the faint scar on his cheek with her tiny fingers. It doesn't hurt, she whispered. He looked straight at me as he answered. No. Not anymore. My chest tightened. It wasn't the scar he meant. Mia eventually curled up on the couch, asleep with the bunny clutched against her chest. Alex turned toward me. This apartment is too small for the two of you, he said softly. You deserve more. Mia deserves more. He took a slow step closer, then another. Please, move into the new place. Not for me. His voice cracked. For her. She should grow up somewhere safe. Somewhere she can laugh, run, dream freely. I looked over at Mia. My entire world curled up in one tiny body. Then I looked back at Alex. No longer the cold Mafia boss I had hated for years. Now he was a father. Her father. Tears pooled again, hot and heavy. And for the first time in 3 long years, an unfamiliar feeling rushed through me. I didn't feel alone. Later that night, the city glittered below like spilled diamonds. On Alex's private rooftop garden, fairy lights curled around railings, candles flickered across a table set for 2, and soft jazz drifted through the air like a warm breeze. I froze at the sight. You did all this? I asked, stunned. Alex stepped forward, dressed in a crisp suit, looking at me with a gentleness I didn't know he was capable of. For you. I crossed my arms. You act like money can fix everything. What if I don't like candles and roses? He didn't hesitate. Then I'll take them away. I don't care about candles, I said. I don't care about roses. I only care about you. He drew a shaky breath. Walls he lived behind for years cracked right in front of me. I've faced death 100 times, he murmured. Guns, knives, betrayals. None of it scared me. His eyes softened. Nothing terrified me like losing you. Heat pooled in my chest. Anger, longing, memories. Everything twisted together. I was a fool that night, Emily. But if you let me, I'll spend the rest of my life proving I'll never abandon you again. I raised a brow, smirking despite the tightness in my throat. So the big shot Mafia is confessing to me under twinkly lights? I thought you didn't do soft. He chuckled, stepping closer. For you, I'd rewrite all my rules. The air between us shifted, heavy, warm, electric. I swallowed hard. You want the truth? I whispered. I hated you. I really did. But the truth is. My voice trembled. I fell in love with you the first night we met. And that terrified me. His breath caught audibly. But, I added, lifting a finger, sass flickering through my tears, if you abandon me again, I'll make sure you regret it. A smile spread across his lips. Slow, tender, breathtakingly real. Deal, he whispered. Because I'm never letting you go. He pulled me closer, our foreheads touching as city lights blazed around us. Down below, faint but sweet, Mia's laughter drifted from her new home, our home. I whispered against his lips, soft and teasing. You know, for a Mafia you're pretty bad at being heartless. He lifted my hand and kissed it slowly. That's because my heart doesn't belong to me anymore, he whispered. It belongs to you. And then his lips met mine, finally. 3 years of pain, longing, anger, and hope crashing into one perfect, breathtaking moment.